That was right. That was bluntly right around with the mortified of the Deshaun issue early in the game.
When he was throwing interceptions and incompletions.
Well, and then what we talked about, unfortunately, last week.
It all came true.
When you practice, you could structure your practice. You could structure how you play. You could know the camera's right there. I could look right into it. I could step into it. But in the game, you get out of whack and you don't have your arm and body in perfect positions. And that was it right in and around when, again, I don't want to hug you, Bull, but he's running left, and then, we're looking and we're going to throw the sideline, or we're going to throw it away towards the camera here. But instead, you want to look back and you want to throw it across your body. And for young quarterbacks, you're not really supposed to. And with a micro tear of the rotator cuff, it makes it exponentially more challenging. And when we talked about the involuntary muscle twitches last week, that's absolutely when that happens, and it's not his fault. That just happens, and he saw the 70% velocity on that ball that couldn't get over the guy's head.
So Bernie, why don't they just put him on the IR and give him another month off?
Well, again, maybe if history left onto itself, if we knew what we knew today 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe we would have done that. Again, I'm not.
But they went through this with Baker.
But the Baker thing in each case is itself, and I'm not trying to absolve the Browns, but like we talked about last week's show, the inflammation at first probably, we now know it's a micro tear, which
we didn't know at first.
Okay, and that's not blaming any of the docs. It's not blaming Deshaun or the Browns, because with massive inflammation, to find a micro tear
can be difficult,
massively challenging. So that could take a few days to a week or so, and then you don't make that decision to turn it down. So,
should they be getting a quarterback now, though? I mean, it seems now like, Bernie, I'm at least looking at it like this is maybe 3 or 4 more weeks.
It's for sure in my mind. Not knowing, I do not have inside information on this. But
okay, so why
looking at it, I concur.
Why aren't they bringing in another quarterback? Because P.J. Walker, that's not sustainable. I mean, the fact that they got 2 wins over the Colts and over the 49ers with this level of quarterback play, is a miracle. It's a gift from the football gods, but we can't expect it to keep coming.
Let's just say, as we're sitting here today in a little bit of disarray and stuff, from the football gods, we have been massively challenged by the football gods this century.
They owe us.
In terms of bad breaks. The football gods loved us the
last
last 2 weeks.
But we can't expect that that's going to continue.
No, but we could be having this situation sitting here at 2-4.
Absolutely.
And having a quarterback issue.
So
we're sitting here at 4-2.
But you know that we need a different quarterback.
So you've asked a question, okay, of that. So we're fortunate to be 4-2. The football gods love us so much the last 2 weeks to get 2 miracle wins that we maybe shouldn't have had, but we got them, so that's all that matters. Okay, so to this week, to play Seattle, P.J. Walker's the quarterback, and I love the Browns announced it yesterday, and he's the quarterback.
Yeah.
You can only deal with today and this week. So from the Browns' perspective, and P.J. Walker's confidence, self-esteem, and even though NFL quarterbacks are supposed to have massive confidence, this "you matter" is here for a reason. Self-confidence and self-esteem is lacking on all of us. Yeah. And we want P.J. Walker to have as much as possible this week to pull out, hopefully, the football gods another miracle win to be 5-2 somehow, some way.
I don't like that as a plan, though.
But ultimately,
I don't like that as a plan.
But ultimately, it's the trade deadline is Tuesday.
Should they make a move, do you think? Jacoby Brissett?
Should they be telling us today before that? No, they should not be. They should be doing exactly what they're doing. I love it because P.J. Walker must have confidence. The team must believe that P.J. Walker could do that. But yes, administratively, you are manning the phone lines. You are digging in for another potential veteran quarterback.
So you think that is going on, despite the fact there's no whispers of it?
You have to look at that.
I like that, Bernie. If that's true, I love that.
That's what
because you don't want to telegraph to everybody that you're in the market. It raises the price.
Do you think Brissett is the right guy of the veterans that are available?
So I've had such a chaotic last week that
Yeah.
my level of detail down to that is he's not the wrong guy because obviously he knows the system and he's been here. To say he's the only guy, I'm not paying attention that much to NFL
Gotcha.
football.
Fair enough.
Fair.
Bernie, let me ask you this because I think you could shed some light on this, and it's a big picture. You know Deshaun on a more personal level than other people know, and you've also been a part of the quarterback fraternity, dating back to Jim Kelly and Dan Marino, and you've seen that, and I respect what you think about the game. You know, because the messaging has been off a little bit, there is a segment of the media and the segment of the fan base that seem to be thinking that Deshaun Watson may not be as hurt as he is.
Brady Quinn flat out said it.
Well,
Brady Quinn flat out said
So what
he doesn't want to play.
So the question is, from your perspective, you've played hurt. You know how many other quarterbacks have played hurt, and for me, I try to tell people, hey, no quarterback, especially the quarterback, they are wired different, right? They feel the responsibility of the entire team. In your, I guess, to be more concise, in your viewpoint, how often would you say quarterbacks shy away from playing because of injury?
So I don't think that much the starting guy, the guy who's the man on the team, shies away from it that much in a macro sense. And just flat out from a specific stance of Deshaun Watson, okay, I'm not his marketing guy. I'm not even sure if I'm his friend, because the friends you got to talk to all the time. So I'm not even saying that. So, and we know that some of my history is with the Browns and stuff. So if I wanted to give digs and be humorous, that's all teed up perfect for me to do that. Okay. All right. So that being said, like, I feel terrible for Deshaun right now. And I know people, he's got $250 million. He's got $200 million. Look at, I was that guy. Did not matter how much I got. I hated not being able to play. So I would try to go play. And the people who say Deshaun Watson doesn't want to play because he's hurt, doesn't want to play because it's pain, that's wrong.
Are you surprised Brady Quinn said that?
Well, I'm surprised because, look, I'm limited in knowledge sometimes. He's not here, so he doesn't maybe know. And then we got that scub tool, whatever those words are that I can't pronounce now, on a muscle tear. It's a micro tear. It's a micro tear. It's not getting better. So Deshaun's problem is whether he even waits 3 or 4 weeks, Jay, when he comes back, they're going to jam him into the ground, and it'll probably still become a rotator cuff surgery that is a full rotator in December and January that would inhibit him being ready in August of next year. So it's not about his pain. And it's not about him not wanting to play. You could see he wanted to play. I could see actually me and him talking the coaches into him, saying, hey, I'm capable of playing. I can make the plays. But flat out, when P.J. Walker in the fourth quarter had to hit that fade on 2nd and 10 and drop it over the corner head before the safety killed him, P.J. Walker's 100% arm was barely strong enough to make that throw that helped the Browns win the game.
Yeah.
When Deshaun was rolling left, it wasn't because he wasn't tough. It wasn't because he was turning it down. His shoulder involuntary switched and turned it down and didn't allow him to execute the throw.
That is the thing that you talk about, that involuntary shutdown.
It's shut
the
it
muscle
down.
knows that if you exert, you're going to have extreme pain.
Right.
So
and
essentially
you can't get
no
it.
chance.
And it's shut down, so he has no chance.
No chance for him to be
exactly
100% this year. That's out the window.
Correct.
Right? I mean,
and
that's
if it's again, I haven't seen the MRI, but if it is a micro tear, it's not guaranteed that heals in 6 to 8 weeks. That's not a guarantee.
Right. Yeah.
So, we could chill for 6 weeks. That may not be.
You know what
healed.
almost guarantees that it doesn't heal is use. We looked
Oh,
up
for
on
sure.
the AMA's official website for these kind of injuries. It specifically said, does it require surgery? And it said, not in all cases, but if you're doing overhead, arm movements, lifting, or throwing anything, it will not heal.
Well, Watson described it as a baseball injury, a more typical baseball injury. So baseball players are not taking hits on the field.
Well,
No.
and again, we want to be positive and stuff. We want to think that the most optimistic thing's going to happen. But to see to see him using it. And again, this is one of my least favorite phrases. Doctors, teams used to say, well, you can't do any more further damage.
Yeah.
That's wrong here. And I'm not saying the doc said it, I'm not saying the Browns said it. That's actually probably why there's uncertainty in the communication right now. Because in a micro tear, you can and you will probably do
We've had
more
several
damage.
surgeons tell us specifically that you
If
can't.
if we want to pretend it's not a micro tear and it's a muscle, okay, then that could heal. That will heal probably in 6 weeks or so. But a week or 10 days ago, it was a micro tear, and 2 days ago, it was a muscle thing that I can't pronounce all those consonants.
Yeah. It's crazy how it's gone.
The bottom line is the Browns have to make a move for another quarterback because it feels like Deshaun Watson, whether they try to play him or not, is not really going to be able to help the team win this year. That's the way it seems based on what you're saying.
I'm concerned for him as a Q. I'm concerned for the team, and it's not. And again, fans, it's not his lack of toughness. He's tough. This is a deep injury that forced me into retirement.
Damn.
And he's too young to do that. And to come out late now and then again have a January full rotator, that's still on the table, and that's part where everybody's got to play into thinking about that.
When we had Tim Couch on the show, he also mentioned that he had 2 complete tears.
Oh, Tim's shoulders, God bless.
And I know.
That's as tough a guy as we know. God, I'll get tears in my eyes. I love him so much.
He is tough.
And a lot of his career, because just like the bake thing, Tim even more so. God, in his career, he always went out there. He always dialed it up. And Tim Couch's arm, with an involuntary twitch at 90% was better than most, and he kept going until it, crushed it. And
he said when he was in Green Bay, he couldn't throw.
Couldn't
10
get
yards
the out. He
without
couldn't get
pain.
the out,
Yeah,
but
right.
he was
Just a
out
simple
there.
Out.
Yeah.
Why don't the teams stop the players from doing that?
Okay, so a lot of times I say the joke. We got to be protected from ourselves.
Right.
Okay. I don't know if I lied any more in my life than I was when you're trying to play football to get out onto the football field.
Right.
I just wanted to be out there. There was nothing more.
Right.
That's partly why I do so much of this wellness stuff because you dealt with issues that you shouldn't have put yourself through. So, if I told my coach I'm feeling good and I'm going to be better, they trust you.
But if Deshaun, the way Deshaun threw the ball, it was clear he wasn't right off the bat. So, didn't they see that in practice?
Yeah, to me, I would super be watching practice. Yeah. I know I could talk my coaches through this and BS my way. So saying, "Oh, I'm saving it. Oh, I got 20% more. That was just 80." But at the patent goes at 11 o'clock on Sunday, and then the individual drills, you really need to say, "Hey, come on, dude!" But show me your sauce. Show me your sauce.
Yeah, right. You got to see it because we're gonna.
Come on,
you don't want to see it in the game.
Yeah, because in 90 minutes the bullets are flying, and I gotta know you gotta lob that fade down there in the box, 25 yards.
Let's try to. Well, I guess to your point, Bull. I guess it's a little easier said than done. I kind of compare it to, everybody being addicts, trying to help each other get off, right? Because Bernie wants to play because he's a competitor and he's trying to win games. The coach is a competitor. He wants to win and win games. The defense is competitive. So when
everybody wants the guy to play.
Everybody is kind of this circular thing, and nobody else is standing outside of the circle saying, "All right, no. Listen, I guess you want to win games, but we got to have you sit down, Bernie. Right. We can't have you playing. Your career,
especially if you can't play at a winning level." And then,
right. And then people say, "Well, shoot it up like I shot it up. Shoot up a cortisone and numb it and stuff." Okay, don't do cortisone. I have better stuff than that. That's actually legal and healthy. Okay, follow me on that. But the involuntary twitch takes over. So even if you feel healthy, you're still going to miss, and arm's going to shut down a half dozen of those throws. That throw that we saw Deshaun trying to make, okay, he's not making that anymore this football season, even if he comes back.
You don't think?
Somehow he can't put himself in that spot. That will amplify, and that puts a complete isolation on the rotator cuff running this way,
Yeah.
trying to throw back at the other camera. I mean, it hurts me.
It probably hurts just doing that.
I'm
right?
hurt, and I'm trying to pretend I'm cool.
Now
I don't
run at
want to
full
win,
speed
so I'm
and try to
trying
put some mustard on it.
right,
you know?
and put sauce on it to where an NFL DB can't close.
Yeah.
Well, this is, so listen. Hey, the bottom line is Bernie's right. We've been, this whole show in a way has felt like a funeral, but the truth is the Browns are 4-2.
Yeah.
And even though the way they won specifically last week is not sustainable, the defense is going to have to carry the team, and they are going to have to get better quarterback play. And it seems to, I think we're all in agreement that the only way to get better quarterback play is from outside.
Well, and that's the issue, and I know Bernie makes a good point. Look, we're not supposed to know if they're working a trade behind the scenes.
Sure, that's right.
So
That's true.
If they suddenly make one, that's good. But I would also make this point: just because the trade deadline is next Tuesday, that doesn't mean you have to wait until then to make a move. They've had a need at quarterback for 5 weeks now, since the Tennessee game was over.
Hey, I think, seriously, at whatever time we were making fun of me on the Taylor Swift picture, okay, and Deshaun was 5 or 10 minutes from
We're not making fun of you, we're envious.
Well, from that point when we saw Deshaun in this position, okay, and the ball go at 70%, the whole organization was looking for another quarterback down the road. That's so it doesn't necessarily mean they're waiting till next. We all know.
I'm gonna. You know what?
I like that.
I put my mind at ease.
That's a good theory.
We all think they have to be doing that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
All right.
He's like, he ain't gonna tell you that. And I like the fact that you said it. You need PJ Walker to have to look over his shoulder, have confidence, maybe play well. You go to 5-2. That's house money, and now you get a quarterback. I like that. That's why you a pro.
Yeah. And it could happen over the weekend. I mean, they're trying people. Look at if we have somebody locked in and they know they're going to part with them, we don't want them playing on Sunday for another team.
That's right.
I mean, but the NFL guys, we're good at compartmentalize. Let us guys deal with it at the moment. They don't need to hypothesize like we are right now.
Okay, so Bernie,
especially your Q, who for the first time knows on Wednesday he's the quarterback. PJ knows.
So here's where I am now, okay?
Okay.
I'm relaxed. I'm chilled. Bernie's told me they're professionals. Trust me, they're on it. If they don't do anything now, I'm going to be even more angry. Because Bernie's saying they're professionals. They've been on this since the interception.
Let's go.
So
let's do it.
We'll cut you guys slack until Tuesday.
I actually think they've been on it before the interception. I think the interception was not just the interception, the line, just the realization that you got to get in uncomfortable positions. That was the defining line in the sand,
right?
To where they're
probably already leaning that way. But once they saw that, they're like, we need someone now.
If you had them in a quiet room, I bet you they would agree with you.
Yeah, with truth serum.
They would have to. They would have to. It's not sustainable to keep winning with PJ Walker. They've been very lucky.
Well, and that again the glass is half full.
Yeah, they're 4-2.
I actually I've been visualizing my inability to jump over the table and block Jay's notes like Myles Garrett did. Like that athleticism that we're showing, that belief. So
how about the kicker?
I'm like, and special teams.
Yeah.
With a 58-yard field goal, in some way, done the right way, you could try to galvanize the team to be able to weather this storm.
Hey, listen, I think Stefanski's done a really good job of that because going into the San Francisco game felt like a funeral here. They came out and played their best game of the year. When things were falling around them in Indianapolis, it felt like, well, this is an L. I mean, their offense is getting boat raced here by, Uncle Rico. And then what do you know? The team never gave up. Stefanski had them galvanized as one force. They made all the plays that they needed to at the right time, including the late throw, including the 1-yard run at the end. Let's give Stefanski his due on that. Because a lesser coach might have lost the team in both of those games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been super positive towards Coach Kevin and have gotten some flack in some other spaces in my life and stuff.
Sure.
And again, like Deshaun, I'm not his marketing rep, but to also have kind of the courage to not put Deshaun back in in the indie game.
Yeah,
and
that's
just kind of
crazy.
ride
Yeah.
and to ride it out without him playing when if he was cleared to go back in and he made that decision. And then, Bulls, kind of to your point, he probably saw tendencies of that in the pregame warm-ups that Sauce wasn't there. Again, can't blame him. I was not right, young kids. I was not right in my ways I spoke sometimes to my head coaches when I decided that I wanted to play. So I did not
Ultimately,
make it.
was it always your call, though?
If you didn't let him touch your shoulder, like if you didn't let him see the issue, when I broke my ankle on Monday Night TV, they didn't get a chance to look at it.
Right.
So they just didn't see it.
Back then, Bernie was going on straight HIPAA. Don't touch my body. You don't know it. It's my body.
There was no independent neurologist in those days.
Bernie shut that
You
down.
weren't going in the blue tent.
But, ultimately the question becomes, okay, so Baker kept trotting himself out there and the team never did the responsible thing
I don't
and
think
said,
that's
you're
a
not
fair,
good.
Again, I don't think that's a fair comparison to keep bringing up Baker. Baker had it was his non-throwing shoulder. This is his throwing shoulder.
Bernie might be able to tell us that.
different.
I don't know if you ever had anything to your non-throwing shoulder, but last year Tony Romo said,
Please debunk
anybody who says that just because it's the non-throwing shoulder
Let-
has never thrown a
But the
football
truth
with
is,
velocity.
and you know this, we've all listened to Tony Romo. He's dumb as a stump. We're all aware
Oh,
of that.
I totally disagree with that. No, I totally disagree.
I'm kidding.
I like
great.
Tony. I really do like Tony. Again, nothing's as bad
No, of course
as the
not.
the
Yes, right.
That's the
rotator
motor.
cuff. Okay, the left arm is massively challenging. It happened a lot to me.
Did you have it too?
Oh God, yeah, because you're leading into it, and I was pretty adept because I knew I was getting hit all the time to making sure this was the shoulder that took him, and I
Right.
tried to learn to fall on these. So this one always was messed up with it. So that throws it off. But again, it's whether it's Baker coming out and playing at 90%. Or again, man, Tim Couch. You know how much I love him.
Sure.
Okay, and how much more, even forget my personal love for him, my awesome respect for him as a quarterback, and to have his career really derailed, and for him to think he wasn't good because he went out there too.
Yeah.
So the ramifications of going out there and is
What, if you had to split the percentage, like it's 50% team, 50% player, what is the split? In most cases, I know it's different probably team to team, but when these conversations are had, how much voice does Deshaun have? How much voice does the team have?
So this may not be fair, but like life, like some of the times, the higher you are on the food chain,
Right.
The,
The more
higher
say you have.
The more say you have.
Okay.
The franchise quarterback has significally higher on the food chain. So
PJ Walker doesn't have any say.
right. So
No. If he's hurt, he's coming out.
So they're at the mercy of the docs and stuff. But it's probably a good more than 50%, especially when you're able more 50% that the player has that.
How about Brady, the superstar, Belichick, the superstar coach? What do you think the dynamic was there?
So
Brady did whatever he wanted?
No, because both of them were obsessively wanting to play. That
Yeah.
what they both wanted was the same
That's
thing.
true.